Hi, my name's Nathan from the Prince's Trust, and in this short video I'm going to show you how to write or update your own CV. But before we get started, I just want to highlight the Prince's Trust Coronavirus Support Hub for young people. It's full of guidance, support and resources to help. We're adding to it all the time, so please be sure to check it out. So in the Prince's Trust we have a range of interactive online workshops coming very soon on themes like well-being, CV development, completing job applications, interview skills and more. So keep an eye out on the Prince's Trust Facebook and Instagram pages for updates. And that's also an easy way to get in touch with us. Just send us a direct message and we'll get back to you. Okay, so what resources will you need to participate in this session? Well, a laptop or tablet would be ideal, so that you can use Microsoft Word or Google Docs to help create your own CV. But if you don't have a laptop or tablet, don't worry. If you've got a notepad and a pen, that'll be enough. You can follow along through the session, and after this session, a Prince's Trust member of staff can help you type up your CV. So if, like me, you're spending most of your time at home, it's actually a great opportunity to take advantage of the time that you've got to write a CV, to update one that you've got, and that will enable you to take advantage of maybe a current job opportunity or one in the future. Just pause this video and work through at your own pace. If there's anything that you're unsure about, just get in touch for some free one-to-one support. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so what is a CV and why do you need one? Well, a CV is a short summary of your education, qualifications and previous jobs that you send to an employer when you're applying for a job with them. And the employer will look at the CV along with your application and they will determine whether or not you're a good fit for the role. So let's take a look at a CV that I've downloaded from the Prince's Trust website, and there's instructions on screen now showing you how to find that. Okay, so let me share my screen with you so you can see what I see. We're looking at a CV that I've downloaded from the Prince's Trust website, and it's been filled in already, and I find that's better to give you an idea of what the CV should look like and give you some ideas about the kinds of things that you could write and how it could be laid out. So at the top of the CV, and I'll highlight this for you, you've got personal information, so that's your name, address and postcode, your telephone number and your email address. Just underneath that, if I scroll down, and I'll highlight that for you as well, we've got a personal summary or personal statement. And that's just a summary of your skills, attitude, knowledge and experience that is tailored to the job that you're applying for. So we can see this statement finishes off with a mention that this young person wants to expand on their skills via a customer-facing role. So that's what they're interested in applying for. Underneath that you can see work experience or employment history. And that's listed chronologically, so we put the most recent job experience at the top and work our way down. You can see it's brief, and in this case the young person has used bullet points to summarise their experience in each role, and that's a good thing to do to keep the CV nice and short. Scrolling down, the next section we've got is education, and again, just like the employment section, it's chronological with the most recent education or qualification at the top. Underneath that we've got key skills and achievements. So it's an opportunity for you, again, in a brief way, as you can see with the bullet points here, to summarise your skills and achievements. Underneath that we've got hobbies and interests, so an opportunity again for you to showcase your talents, your skills and your experience. And then we round off the CV with a section on references, and this young person has indicated that references are available on request, which is fine. So one of the things you should notice is the CV is clearly laid out. with an easy to read font, and it's less than 2 A4 pages. And that's really important because employers don't spend too long looking at this document. They may have 20, 30 or more CVs to look at and to sift through as part of the employment process. So you want to keep it nice and concise, no more than 2 pages, and make sure that it's really clear and well laid out. Now, you could probably stop the video here and, using the template that you've downloaded, put together a basic CV, but I want to give you some additional tips to help make it as good as it can be. So I want to show you a technique that you can use when you're writing a CV, applying for a job, or even taking part in a job interview. What I want you to do is to get an A4 page and divide it into 4 equal rectangles. Write skills into box 1, write attitude into box 2, write knowledge into box 3, and experience into box 4. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is the skills box. And in just a second, I'm going to bring up on the screen a list of different skills that apply to the world of work. And I want you to pause the video on that screen and look at the list of skills and think about the ones that you're good at. And I want you to write down your top 5 skills. And I want you to write it down in the skills box on the page that you've got there. But before we do that, let's define what we mean by the word skill. And a skill is the ability to do something, usually gained through training or experience. So have a look now at the list of skills and write down your top 5. Okay, so if you've unpaused the video, that means you've completed that exercise, and just like me, you've written down your top 5 skills. Now we'll move on to the attitude section, and really that's looking at things like your personality and your characteristics. And employers want to know what kind of person you are to see if you'll be a good fit for the role that they have advertised. So just like we did for the skills, I'm going to put up a list of qualities and characteristics on the screen, pause the video and write down your top 5. Okay, so at this stage of the video, you've completed the attitude section and you've put down your top 5 characteristics. And hopefully those will be attractive to an employer and specific to the job that you're applying for. And now we're going to move on to the knowledge section of this exercise. And on the next screen, I'm going to put up some ideas to help you write information down into that box. Okay, so let's finish off this exercise by looking at the experience section. Now, so far we've completed 3 out of the 4 sections of this exercise. We've completed skills, attitude, and knowledge. And experience is actually the easiest bit to complete because the other 3 sections feed into that. And I'll give you an example. So let's say you've worked in a retail job before, working in a busy store environment, dealing with customers, providing a high level of customer service, maybe looking at things like stock rotation, working on a till, etc. Well, if you look at the skills section, you may have put down communication skills as a strong point for you. Well, it's highly likely that in that job, that's where you develop those communication skills. And if you look at the attitude section, you might have put down something like being helpful. And again, that could be a quality that you developed as part of that role. And in the knowledge section, you may have put down knowledge of stock rotation. And again, that's knowledge that you developed as part of that role. So you can see that the experience is drawing on the other three sections of this exercise and that they all tie together. So use this as a working document, and the next time you come to complete a job application form or that you come to complete a job interview, you'll find this really helpful to draw upon. Okay, so before we go back to looking at the CV, I want to just take a little bit of time to look at a real job that I found on the internet. And the reason that I'm doing that is I want to see, do any of the skills, attitude, knowledge, or experience that you've come up with for yourself match a real job that you could apply for today? So as you can see on the screen, I'm looking at this now. What I'm looking for are those words or phrases that will jump out at me that fall into those four categories that we've looked at: skills, attitude, knowledge, experience. And right away, you should see some things that you would want to take note of. So for example, I can see communication skills, I can see teamwork, great customer service, greeting customers with a smile and serving them with pride, listening skills, helpfulness, decision making, doing the right thing for customers, being passionate and knowledgeable about products, so there's knowledge, and always be there on time, so that's looking at being punctual and being well presented. So the reason I'm showing you that is just to show you that it's not just enough to think about your skills, attitude, knowledge and experience. It's not just enough to present that in a nice way on a short format CV. It needs to be tailored for the role you're applying for. So what you need to do is go and look at a job that you want and look very closely at the skills and knowledge and experience that they're looking for. And if the two match, if your skills, knowledge and experience match that of the job, it's more likely that you're going to be able to make the most of that opportunity. Let's put what we've learned into practice as we look at writing a personal summary. So I'm going to bring a slide up on the screen, and at the top left you can see a summary of what we've looked at during this CV session. So in the top left you can see a summary of your skills, attitude, knowledge and experience. And in this example I've just put down teamwork and communication, I've put down positivity and helpfulness, and I've put down retail experience. Now your list may be similar, it may be slightly different, that's okay. And in the top right you can see the example for the role with Tesco that we looked at. And what we just discovered when we looked at that job advert was the skills and attitude and experience that they're looking for. And I've listed those for you. That's communication, teamwork, helpfulness, somebody who's hardworking, and somebody who's committed. So already you can see, and I'll bring up on the screen to show you the similarities. This is what you should be doing with the job that you've found, is matching your skills to that of the role. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine my skills and I'm going to look at the skills that they're looking for in this role with Tesco to write a personal summary for myself. And I'm going to bring that up in the white box on the bottom left of your screen. So here we go, we'll bring it up on the screen and I'll read it out for you. So I'm going to say that I'm an effective communicator who works well as part of a team but also independently. That's going to be my first sentence. Now, right away, we can see there that I've mentioned communication, and that's on my list, and it's also on Tesco's list. Who works well as part of a team? Again, that's on my list and on theirs, so I want to make sure to mention that. And I've also said that I can work independently. I don't just rely on other people or being part of a team. I can work independently as well. So that'll stand me in good stead. Okay, next sentence I'm going to say, I have experience of working in retail and enjoy the challenge of delivering a high level of customer service on a daily basis. So what's standing out there is the experience of working in retail. That's going to be a good thing for me to talk about. So I've got that ticked off. Enjoying the challenge is something that the Tesco rule mentioned. Rolling your sleeves up and getting on with the day-to-day challenges of a rewarding role in retail. And customer service was also mentioned, so that's why I've put it in there. Okay, next sentence, just the last one to round off this personal summary. I'm hardworking and professional, and I'm seeking a rewarding career in the retail sector. So again, I'm mentioning the fact that I'm hardworking, so there we can see on the Tesco list, I'll highlight that for you. We've ticked that off as well. Professional as well was something that was mentioned. And I've also said I'm looking for a career in the retail sector, which makes reference to my commitment. So hopefully you can see there how I did that. So I've looked at my skills, attitude, knowledge and experience. I found a job and I've looked at the skills that they're looking for, and with both of those side by side, I've written a personal summary for myself. And that's really the system that you should use when you're putting a CV together or applying for a job or preparing for a job interview. Look at your skills, look at the skills for the role, and match the two together. So I think at this stage we'll round off the session. Thank you very much for following along with the video. I really hope that you found it useful. I hope that you've learned something. As I said at the start, if you have any questions or queries at all, just pick up the phone or contact the Prince's Trust on Facebook or Instagram. One of our staff members will get back to you. We can provide one-to-one support via email or over the phone, or you can also do online web chat with a personal advisor. So thanks for tuning in to this video, and we'll see you on the next one.